Why was Albon, Sainz, Piastri and Arthur Leclerc all at an all-inclusive hotel in Turkey? As you may have noticed from my videos, I was in Turkey for 2 weeks during May, and to be fair, they were all actually in Monaco at the time, but I swear there were some serious doppelgangers at this hotel. But this crazy coincidence that there were so many F1 doppelgangers at my hotel wasn't the only thing that left me in awe. I'm a little bit of a social butterfly when I go on holiday, and I always find it so crazy to see how many people know English. And that's because in England, I don't feel like we're really encouraged to learn other languages. Although when I was researching for this video, I did see that a number of people were saying that native English speakers shouldn't be feeling that surprised about it because it is so common in Europe to know multiple languages. But anyway, that got me thinking about the languages that the F1 drivers know. Based on a website called Learn to Language, here are the languages that the current F1 drivers know, and they know it to basically fluency level. However, there is some debate about the languages that drivers are fluent in, so if you know of any others, please let me know in the comments. Also, there are some drivers who are learning a language but aren't necessarily fluent. But as I'm sure you will notice, most of the drivers who natively speak English don't know any of the languages. And I assume that a big reason for that is that many motorsport series are based in the UK, and that many of the F1 teams are based in England. And therefore, most of the time, communications such as team radios or giving feedback will be in English. Plus, English is one of the official languages for the FIA. However, just because most people in F1 speak English doesn't mean there aren't any hitches. For example, we see that sometimes interviews can be interpreted slightly incorrectly, which can actually have a big knock-on effect. And I don't know how true this is, but apparently when a driver first joins a team, they don't use sarcasm until everyone's kind of used to each other. And if that's true, I can totally understand why, because I have definitely experienced my sarcasm being taken very literally. Finally, I love when non-native English F1 drivers speak in their own language. For example, I remember last season people were saying that Colapinto's interviews in Spanish were hilarious, and to be fair, they were. I was so grateful for the people who were translating them. Similarly, when drivers are talking to each other in a language that isn't English, the vibe is really different. Honestly, F1 is one of the biggest reasons why I've been inspired to pick French back up again. So if anyone has any tips for learning a language, please let me know, because the only tip I got from F1 drivers was to immerse yourself, and I'm not moving to France anytime soon, so I can't really do that.